Can everybody kindly mute yourself?
Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, can you please?
Good evening, sir. Ma'am, तुम्हारा
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves for some time. We'll wait for 5 minutes and then we will start again. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please mute yourselves.
Sir, there is someone named Oppo A31.
Thank you, everybody. Kindly mute yourselves.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good evening,
It is
sir.
evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
It is
Good
evening.
evening, sir.
चलो पर.
गुड इवनिंग बोलेगा क्या?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Please mute yourselves. We will start in few minutes. Please mute yourselves. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Sir, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Please,
sir.
please mute yourselves.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good morning, sir.
It is evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir, is it
evening.
possible
Good
to
evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Can we
sir.
can we put everybody?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
sir.
Very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please
Good
kindly mute yourselves.
Sir, can you please mute all of us?
Sir, you have an option mute everyone. Don't allow to unmute.
Kindly mute everybody except. Thank you very much. Hey, so good evening, everybody. I would like to welcome all the parents and all the children who are here for this webinar. My name is Anshuman, and I'm going to be your companion for the evening. So, parents and students, this is the next webinar in the webinar series that we have. This webinar, we are going to talk about algebra for grade 7 and grade 8. So before I begin, I would like to state that parents being in the webinar is always helpful, and it is important for the parents to invest their 60 minutes of time in this webinar for this evening. So I would request all the parents to be there to help their children, and there is a special quiz for the parents also. So children, please make sure that your parents are also paying attention to the webinar. In this webinar, what we are going to do today, we are going to talk about educational initiatives a bit. We will learn algebra. We'll learn basics of algebra. We'll have teachers who are going to teach the children. We are going to practice algebra via MindSpark also. As I told, there is going to be a quiz for the parents. And we are going to talk about MindSpark live classes, which we are going to hold. And of course, we'll answer all your questions. So before we begin, I hope all the children are carrying their pen and notebook, because you will have to solve questions. You have to note down definitions when the teacher is going to teach you. So our teacher for the day is Jayanti Dasgupta ma'am. She is Masters in Philosophy. She has been academic head for mathematics in various schools. She has been head of department for mathematics. She carries a 20 years of rich teaching experience with her. I welcome you, Jayanti ma'am, for this webinar.
Thank you, parents and students, for joining us today. And thank you, Anshuman, for this eloquent introduction. But I would like to introduce myself as a teacher, and especially a maths teacher. Like you said, I have spent 16 years in school education, and last 5 years, I'm working with educational initiatives, and I'm heading the academic team of EI.
Indeed, you are a great maths teacher also, ma'am. And all the children and the parents here on this webinar would like to be benefited. So, ma'am, before we go ahead, could you please tell us something about educational initiatives?
Indeed, Anshuman. Education Initiatives, we call it EI, is a 20-year-old organization with a vision of creating a world where children are learning with understanding. We are at present over 19 countries, and we work with more than 10 lakh students. Also, we are proud to be associated with more than 5,000 schools. We have more than 5 billion students responses that help us to get a deeper understanding in the way students learn, and most importantly, understand why there is a learning gap. MindSpark, which is a learning solution, has helped more than 10 lakh students to become self-regulated learners. We also have conducted more than 1 crore assessments in last 20 years. So this is EI, Anshuman.
That's a lot of work being done by any education company, and especially Indian education company in this sphere. Thank you for telling us about educational initiatives, ma'am. Now, may I know, why did you choose algebra as the topic for this webinar?
Yes, this is again a very interesting question. Why algebra? And before, in fact, telling why algebra, I want to say the space that algebra occupies in domain of mathematics. Today, mathematics has many branches, right? Pure mathematics, applied maths, we have number theory, algebra, analytical mathematics, topology. In applied maths, we have something like statistics, econometrics, astronomy, astrology. All this uses algebra. But in 16th century, when life was not this complicated, mathematics was divided in two parts. One was arithmetic, the other was geometry. 70% of higher arithmetic is algebra. And also in geometry, we use something like algebraic structures, and we call it algebraic geometry. So you see, 80% of higher mathematics is algebra.
So that means the students who are learning algebra in grade 7 and grade 8, they are going to use this for the entire mathematics journey of theirs in coming future.
Absolutely.
So children and parents, please understand, algebra is not a chapter that will start in grade 7 and will get over after the exams of grade 7 are done. We are going to use algebra in our mathematics learning of all the future classes. So whatever we are going to talk here, please be very, very attentive, both parents and the children. So moving towards the class, there are various topics which we have in algebra. I would hand over the class to Jayanti ma'am. Ma'am, I would request you to kindly start helping the children and start teaching them the algebra.
Surely, Anshuman. So I will start sharing my screen.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, you're on mute. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. I can see that.
So we start algebra by defining it first. Algebra is that part of mathematics in which letters and symbols are used to represent numbers and quantities. It is study of unknowns. And this makes it little difficult as well as interesting. Now let's see. All students here present, they know about arithmetic. So let's draw some comparison between what is arithmetic and what is algebra. Arithmetic uses numbers and operations, right? Operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Like in arithmetic, we write 1 plus 2 is equal to, we calculate and write the answer. Now let's draw a parallel to algebra. Algebra also uses numbers and operations. Same operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. With this, algebra also uses something called unknown. So the way we have written for arithmetic, we have to write the same thing in algebra. We will write 1 plus 2 is equal to unknown. And this unknown in algebra is represented by letters. It can be anything, A, B, C, D, anything. But the most commonly or infamously used letter is X. So we write 1 plus 2 is equal to an unknown X. In this, 1 plus 2 is something we know, and X is our unknown.
So that means, ma'am, it is not necessary to write X in algebra. It could be any number, any alphabet.
Alphabet,
A,
yes.
B, C, or any representation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and X is the infamous one, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
one of the goals of algebra is to find the unknown. And the method or the way we solve or we find unknown, we call it as solving the equation.
So children, take few seconds, just note it down that Algebra is finding unknowns
So
before
see,
ma'am
Anshuman,
moves away.
there is no big difference between arithmetic and algebra. We only make it a little tougher, right? Now let's
Yes,
see
ma'am.
what grade 7 and 8 students learn in algebra. So these are some of the subtopics, sub-learning units that students learn in algebra. We cannot cover everything today, but we'll surely understand the important ones. What is terms? What are the special terms or vocabulary of algebra? Second, how to solve an equation. We call it simplification. And third, which students are a little scared of, is word problems in algebra. So let's start with terms of algebra. The first and most important terms, like terms and unlike terms, right? What does it mean? Now, let me make it simple for you. So I have drawn some apples here. If you can see, 2 apples plus 3 apples. So in mathematics, what does this mean, you know? This means we have 3 apples, 1, 2, and 3. And in this, we have 2 apples, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this means 5 apples. This is what we all learn in grade 1, 2, 3. Simple addition. Now, if same thing, if I have to write in terms algebra, I write 3x plus 2x is equal to 5x. So instead of apple, I have x. Similar representation. 1, 2, 3x plus 2x is 5x. So if we draw similarity, it looks simple. Now, these are all same.
Yes.
X,
Yes, ma'am.
x, they're all same. Now, suppose I also have a piece of watermelon. I'll take 2 minutes time here to draw this watermelon. It looks good. Okay. Now I have piece of 1 watermelon. Okay. Now how will I write? 1 plus 3, 4. 4 plus 2, 6. That means this my 5 becomes 6. Right? My 5 becomes 6 here. Now will I write 6 apple or will I write 6 watermelon? What should I write? Children, what do you think we should write? 6 apples or 6 watermelon? We don't have 6 apples, neither we have 6 watermelons. We have 5 apples plus we have 1 watermelon, right? So these are similar terms. So these are like, and this is unlike, different. Similarly, if I have to write the same thing in algebra, I have 1y or y. So I cannot write as 6x. I have to write 5x plus 1y. So in terms of algebra, this is like, and this is unlike. Let me again explain you with another example. Now see, suppose I have 2x plus 3x plus 1 plus 4. Now I don't have y's, but these two are like and these two are unlike. So I write it as 5x plus 4 plus 1 is 5.
So that means, ma'am, in algebra, the plus and minus can be done only between the terms which are similar to each other, like xx, yy, or without x or y simple numbers, isn't that?
Absolutely. That is why we introduce term like terms and unlike terms so that we don't get confused.
Understood, ma'am. We can go ahead.
Right. So now, once we learn this, I want students to be ready with their pencil and a notebook, and I want them to solve this question for me. I'll read out the question. 3m plus dash is equal to 9mn. What should come in the blank to make the above equation true? You have 1 minute's time. Please do not answer it in the chat box. Poll will come.
Children, you'll have a poll. Kindly answer in the poll. Do not answer in the chat. Please answer in the poll. I've got
More
last
than one.
30.
Yeah, more than 150 students have answered, Anshuman.
Yes, ma'am. I see many students answering it. Please remember the basics which ma'am has told. Last 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds, and I've got few more children to answer. 15 seconds, huh? Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, the poll stop. Ma'am, we can go ahead.
Yeah. So let us see how to solve this question. This is the question. I just wrote it down how it looks, right? So we have to find out what is this blank. So suppose I put the first option here, 6n. 3 plus 6 is 9, correct? But m and n are different. I cannot write 6, 9mn. My first option is not correct. Let me put the second option, 9mn minus 3m. Plus 3m and minus 3m get cancelled. And we are left with 9m. So my left-hand side is same as the right-hand side. So my equation is true. So the correct option is 9mn. Good, interesting question. Let us move to the next concept. Solving an algebraic expression and equation. Now this is an algebraic expression. Why algebraic? Because it has knowns and unknowns together. Now let's make this expression as an equation. The moment I add 5 here and put an equal to sign, my expression turns into an equation. Now, if I quickly solve this, I'll explain you the process, but I would like to first quickly solve this. Now, this is the answer of this. To do this, to solve an algebraic equation or expression, we need the 4 operators. What are the 4 operators? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And the second thing, which is very important when we are solving an equation, is we should maintain a balance between the left-hand side of the equation to the right-hand side of the equation. That means whichever these 4 operators we used on the left-hand side, similar operator should be also used on the right-hand side of the equation.
Can you give me like 5 seconds? I'll just write it down.
Yeah, sure.
So 4 operations can be performed in the like terms.
Yes.
Plus and minus in the like terms.
Absolutely.
And LHS should be equal to RHS. Ma'am, I have noted down. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Now, why did I solve this equation beforehand? Now, the method of solving an equation is all the unknowns should be on one side of the equation and all the knowns should go to the other side of the equation. X is unknown. So all the unknowns is here. And all the knowns are here. So that is also an important aspect, right? Now let us start solving it. So we have 4 plus 3x by 2 is equal to 5. To remove the unknowns or knowns from left-hand side, first let us eliminate 2. 2 is a division here. So we need to multiply both the sides with 2. So let us multiply both the sides with 2. Now I use a bracket to show that I'm multiplying 2 with the entire expression. If I have done this, if I multiply left hand side with 2, I should multiply even the right hand side with 2. That is what is balancing equation we just discussed.
Right.
Now, 2 gets cancelled. We are left with 4 plus 3x is equal to 2 into 5. Now we have to remove everything except x. So I subtract both the sides with 4. Now plus 4 and minus 4 gets deleted, and I only have 3x here. 3x is equal to 2 into 5 minus 4. Now one important thing in algebra is multiplication is a default operator in algebra. That means 3x means 3 into x. That is not the same in case of arithmetic. In arithmetic, if I write two numbers, 2 and 4, it means 24. It does not mean 2 into 4. I just wanted to tell you this before I proceed. So 3x means 3 into x. So to remove 3, what I need to do, I need to divide both the sides with 3. If I divide both the sides with 3, I am left with x is equal to 5 into 2 is 10 minus 4 by 3. That is 6 by 3. So x value is 2. So I found out the value of x. Following simple steps that 4 operators I'm using on like terms, and LHS should be whatever operation I do on left hand side will be the same as right hand side. Now for any equation to be true, LHS should be RHS. There is one important step in algebra. We need to also verify whether my whatever value I got for x is correct or not. How do I do it? I start with the LHS, 4 plus 3x by 2. Let me change the pen color so that will be easy. I plug in the value of x, 4 plus, so this is my left hand side, 3 into 2 by 2. So 4 plus 6 by 2, that is equal to 5. And I get my right hand side. So that means the value that I calculated is correct because left hand side is equal to right hand side.
Understood.
This is how we solve equation. Pretty simple,
Understood.
right?
Yes, yes.
Right. So let's see whether we all have understood this or not. Let me give a question to you. This is a very easy question. It's a direct question. If 2x plus 10 is equal to 24, what is value of 4x? I want all students to find out. The poll will be there on your screen.
Children, please solve this question and then answer it on the poll. I will launch the poll in 30 seconds. Please solve this. It's a simple question. Use your pen, use the paper, solve this. That is how Jayanti ma'am teaches children. She'll explain a concept, she'll give a question, solve that. Okay, I see some of them have solved it. You have this poll on your screen. Solve the question, put that in the poll. Okay, okay. 30 seconds more. Please answer your question on the poll. Don't stop. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Answer it. Parents, please don't help. And younger sisters should not help also. Okay, so ma'am, we are done. Last 10 seconds, if somebody has not answered, please answer. Ma'am, the poll is closed.
Right. So let's see the answer of this question. Okay. It's a pretty direct question. So 2x plus 10 is equal to 24. Again, the first rule, how we solve, we have to isolate all the unknowns in one side and knowns in other side. So first we remove 10. So I subtracted both the sides with 10. 2x is remaining. I again divide both the sides with 2 to remove 2. So x equal to 7. But the question is not what is x. The question is find value of 4x. So I do this. But there is an interesting method of doing algebra. Now, when we come to this step, 2x equal to 4, we know what is asked. For us, it is asked what is 4x. So let us multiply both the sides with 2. I have to, it's become very thick. Okay, yeah. So 2 into 2x is 4x and 14 into 2 is 28. So instead of doing all these steps, I can complete it here only in one step. So that's how algebra works.
I get it, ma'am. I get that.
So now let's go to the next topic and the most interesting topic, word problems in algebra. Now, what are word problems? I like to define it this way: construction of an algebraic equation from a real life situation and solving it. Now, to approach any word problem, there are 3 ways. The first one is assigning a variable. Second, understanding the knowns and unknowns. And the third step is relationship between the variables. Now let us understand. Yeah,
Children,
Anshuman.
ma'am, I need 5 seconds to note it down.
Sure.
So children, note this. For solving a word problem, assigning a variable, ma'am is going to explain that.
Yeah.
Understanding what is known, what is unknown in the variables. And third, finding out the relationship between the variables. Please note it. Do not miss it. You may forget it later. Note it down.
So now let's see these 3 steps in form of a question. Right? Now we have a question here. There are 2 sisters, Meenu and Neetu. Meenu is 3 years younger than twice the age of Neetu. If Neetu's age is 12, how old is Meenu? It looks little complicated. Let us see Meenu and Neetu. Now, what was our first step? Assigning variables, because it's a real life situation. We have to assign a variable. So let Meenu be M and Neetu be N. So the first step is assigning variables. The second step, we saw this, what is known and what is unknown. That means what is given in the problem and what is asked. It is given that Neetu's age is 12 years. And what is asked? What is Meenu's age? So we have done the first 2 steps. The third step is to define the relationship between these variables. So what is how old is Meenu? So it is, we are saying Meenu is M, right? Meenu is 3 years younger than twice the age of Neetu.
So guys, children, please understand. You read the question where what is asked. There are 2 variables, M and N. What is asked, M is asked. And there is a relationship between the 2 variables.
Correct.
So those 3 steps which ma'am has said, we have found it. Yes, ma'am.
Now it is very easy to solve. We know N is equal to 12. So M is 2 into 12 minus 3. 2 into 12 is 24. Minus 3 is 21. So Meenu is 21 years old.
Oh, you made it look so simple, ma'am. Can you please repeat those 3 steps that we that we saw, ma'am?
Yes. The first step is to assign variable to the real life problem or real life character. Meenu and Neetu, we assign 2 variables. Then understand what is given in the question, that is knowns, and what is asked, that is unknown. So we know that Neetu's age is 12. We have to find out Meenu's age. Then relationship between variables. So we wrote Meenu's age is 3 years younger than twice the age of Neetu.
Right. Let's solve another question, ma'am, I think.
Yeah. So let's solve another question. I have a question for you. Also, I have written the 3 steps so that you can follow it. So I'll read out the question. Neha is buying some eggs from a shop. 1/4 of eggs in the shop are brown eggs and the rest are white eggs. If X represents the number of brown eggs, which of those represents number of white eggs? Anshuman, the question looks big, but my math,
It looks difficult.
It looks complicated. Yeah, but my math teacher used to tell, if the question is big, then there are a lot of information given to you. It is easy to solve. But if a question is small, very less information is given to you, so it is difficult to solve.
So children, please solve this question like before. We would have a poll coming in. I would want all of the children to look carefully and solve this question. We're going to get poll in next 15 seconds. The poll will launch. Okay, poll is there. Kindly answer in the poll. Okay, next 30 seconds for the poll to be answered by everybody. All right, last 15 seconds. I hope you would have solved it. If not, Jayanti ma'am will explain that to you. But I'm going to close the poll in next 5 seconds. Okay, ma'am, the poll's closed.
Right. So let me show you how to answer this question. Looks a bit difficult, but let's see. Right. First step, assigning a variable brown x b, white egg w. Brown egg is 1/4 of the figure, that is x. You have to find out what is white eggs. Now, relationship between variables. I drew the figure for you. 1/4 is brown and 3/4 is white egg. So we have to find out white eggs. White weight is 3/4. 3/4 can be written as 3 into 1/4. But 1/4 is given as x. My white eggs are 3 into x, 3x.
Oh. Ma'am, can you explain that once again? I didn't understand it, please.
I'll explain. So the question given is, this figure, there is 4 portion. 1/4 is brown egg, 3 portion is white egg. This 1/4 is given as x. It's given in the question. We have to find out what is the rest, white eggs. So I wrote brown eggs is b, that is x.
Okay.
What are white eggs? So white egg is 3/4. So 3/4 can be written as 3 into 1/4.
Yes.
But 1/4 is nothing but x. So 3
Yes.
into x. So number of
Okay.
white eggs are x.
I understand that. Now I get it. Okay. So, ma'am, thank you. I think that was very interesting. We have covered 3 topics here. We talked about the terms. We talked about how to solve simplification, and we talked about
problems.
problems. That was a very interesting class, ma'am. Let's continue further.
Thank you. Sure, I'll unshare my screen.
Sure, ma'am. I hope children, you would have learned this. We are going to learn many new things. How many of you liked and understood what Jayanti ma'am has told? Can you please raise your hands here? On the screen, please raise your hands.
Oh, wow, overwhelming.
Oh, almost everybody has raised their hands that they have liked and understood what Jayanti ma'am told. So now parents, your turn to answer the questions. Children, please call your parents because it is their turn to answer the questions now. And don't help them with this question, okay? Call your parents. They are time to answer the questions. It is quiz time for the parents. I hope all the parents have got their pen and paper ready with them. And I would request children not to help their parents. Parents did not help you, you don't help them, okay? Promise? Yes, I see hands being raised. First, please make a square. All the parents, on that paper with a pen, please make a square. Kids, don't help your parents to make a square. Okay, and second step, divide that square into two parts. Make a square, divide that into two parts. I think that's done. It's pretty easy, isn't it? Yes. Now, there will be a poll coming in. You have to answer. How many of you have done it the way we have here? Please have a close look to the screen and answer this poll. Please answer. Please answer. Please answer. How many of us have done it in A, B, C, D, E? So I have 300 parents who have answered. Parents, please answer it. Just 10 more seconds to do the same thing that your children did, answering a poll. Okay, the poll's done. I'm going to declare the results of the poll in few moments. So now going ahead, I'll come with the results. Parents, it's a very interesting result that we found, but let's see the result which, oops, did we have idea that we could do it like this also? Oh. See, there's so many ways.
They have used only straight lines. They have not yet used curved lines.
Yes, only straight lines are being used, and there are thousands of variations of doing it with the curved line. So, parents, when I show you the results that you have got, it will be very interesting. But so wait, please don't go. Your results are being tabulated. Now let's see what children have done. So Jayanti ma'am had explained 3 questions, the 3 topics, and then she asked 3 questions. All of the children said they understood. But if I look, question number 1, the correct answer was B, which is 9mn minus 3n. Children, please have a look. Parents, 81% of the children, you see almost 200, all 400, 500 children had answered. 81% answered it incorrectly. In the second question, the answer was, of course, 28, or the C part. 40% still answered it incorrect, pretty direct question. Third, we see the answer was A, 3x. 79% children answered it incorrectly. Now, the question is, where Jayanti ma'am has taught very well, everybody saw her teaching, she was teaching well. You were sitting with your children, I believe, so there was no question of children not being attentive. Still, the children made mistake. So when children make mistake, it is not that it is the error of a child or the teacher has not taught well. This phenomena is called learning gap.
Yes.
Despite the teacher teaching the best that she can, still there is a gap of learning. It's called learning gap. Ma'am, could you please tell us more about learning gap?
Yes, Anshuman. It's a phenomenon which is known to us teachers and educators. When we teach in the classroom, the difference between what is taught and what is learned is always something between 20 to 30%. That means when I teach, 70% is understood and 30% is not understood. And for that 30%, we need to do practice, a very religious way of practicing mathematics. And that is what is this possible, the cause for possible spiral that you see here.
So parents, let me tell you, what is this very interesting spiral? If a child is studying in grade 7 or grade 8 and the child is studying algebra, and if the child has not understood the concept well, there is a possibility that the problem may lie in grade 6. Now, child has passed grade 6. बच्चा grade 6 पास करके आ गया है 7th या 8th में. Still, there is a possibility that the problem lies in grade 6. And if that problem is not solved, the future journey with algebra would be a problem. So, ma'am, I get it. And of course, during these times when only different kind of online learning is happening, loss could be very high.
Yes.
So what to do, ma'am, with a lot of learning gap? Is there a way where which you think is the best way of learning during these times?
The best way of learning this time is absolutely teacher is a very important part, where teacher is teaching and students do practice. Maths cannot be learned by just looking at a question. We have to solve it to get to understand the nuances of each and every question asked. And not just any practice, Anshuman, it is intelligent practice, or we call it as an I practice. Practice, it's remember in the school when we used to come late, we used to write, we will not come late 30 times. That's a punishment, but mathematics is not punishment. When we teachers ask children to do a question again and again, or same type of question, we ask them because for every question they need to think and then solve. So variety of questions are important.
So parents, please understand what Jayanti ma'am did is just half of the teaching.
Yeah.
The other half of teaching mathematics, which is very, very important, is doing intelligent practice, not same kind of questions doing.
Absolutely.
But before I go ahead with what is intelligent practice and we demonstrate how do we do it, ma'am, I want to understand the meaning of this arrow, which says after practice, this should go to impactful teaching. So will children's practice make your teaching better?
Absolutely. Children, whatever children are doing and what they are not understanding, if I can see it and then incorporate it in my lesson plan and make remedials and enrich my lesson plan, only then it is impactful. Otherwise, there's no point. So let me show you. We do this very in a very intelligent way in MindSpark. I would like to show you that, Anshuman.
So, ma'am, so children and parents, ma'am is going to talk about what should children do after the lesson has been learned. Ma'am, all yours.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. Okay. So I log in, I go to www.mindspark.in on my Google Chrome browser, and I enter a student username and password and say login. So every student will be given his or her username and password. So a student can see on their, this is the student's home page. Student can see topics activated by the teacher on their home page and start solving questions. So like we taught two topics, I'll start solving questions. So one is word problems, other is solving equations. So let me start with solving equations.
So this is the second part of your teaching, wherein you have taught. Now you are asking students to practice it. Let's see
Yes.
what kind of practice happens. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So let me just minimize this. So it starts with a basic explaining m into minus 10 means what. So if I say it is product, it is explaining. I said, you know, in mathematics, in algebra, especially multiplication is the default operator. I select
Yes.
this, I select an answer,
Yes, ma'am.
and it gives me, even if I'm correct, it gives me the right explanation.
Oh, it explains. I understand, ma'am.
Yeah. So I move on to the next. So now it minus is removed. Again, it is asking what 3 into y is.
Okay. So it is 3y. Is the answer correct?
Again, I
Yes,
do
my
it
answer
correct.
is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm moving on to the next one. Minus 5y. Okay.
Okay. Go. Okay.
So now it becomes a little complicated. Now we have 3r and 4. So 3 into 4 is 12 minus 12r. Now it comes with little more complicated, right? It becomes 12 plus z plus 2. So what does it mean? Should I?
Yeah, this is the answer, ma'am. 12z plus 2. Can you please
Yeah.
click that?
Okay. Let me do the correct one. Okay. Oh.
Oh, it is wrong.
Yeah. So what happens if I make a mistake? It's again asking me.
Okay.
Right. 8. So this
So
is x plus.
what I see here, ma'am, is it is asking variety of questions,
Correct.
not same kind of questions.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
I
For
understand.
every question. Yeah. So this is how MindSpark granularly takes you from one question to another. And once now you see, now it is saying, okay, you have solved it. Now, why don't you give steps?
Oh.
Now, when I do this, it's telling me, is this the answer? Is this your final answer? Or you could simplify it further.
So
Again,
that
it is
means
asking
if a child does inky pinky ponky, it will not work. The child will have to make sure that the question is solved.
Yes.
So this guesswork will not work with MindSpark and your teaching, isn't it, ma'am?
Absolutely, it will not.
I get it, ma'am. Can we go ahead and see some word problems now, ma'am?
Yeah. So let us, I say I have done this topic. And I go back to my home page and start solving some word problems.
So parents, this is the second part of it. And please remember that your result is yet to come. Huh?
So it's saying word problems, right? It's saying, okay, I read the
There it is.
question and I say, yeah.
Oh, it very beautiful explanation.
Yeah,
Very nice.
with steps, with every step.
Every step explanation. So I understand, ma'am.
See now, it is asking me a challenge question. It's saying you just cannot select. You have to answer something. Suppose I give an answer wrong, then what happens? It
So here
tells
again,
me, don't worry.
Here again, no inky pinky ponky.
I can correct. It again takes me back to a normal question.
So I see MindSpark just behaving like a private, teacher for every child.
Yeah.
I get it.
Correct.
I get it. I get it. But ma'am,
So
you
now the
haven't
second
answered.
part. Yeah.
But ma'am, you haven't still answered my question that how will this practice of children help you to improve your teaching?
Yeah. So let me now log in as a teacher and show you.
Sure, ma'am, please.
So every teacher also has an ID. So I log in as a teacher. I can see performance of my entire class in front of me. So I go to the specific class.
Oh,
and
so
I can see
all
the performance.
this was the report of one of the batch which you are teaching in MindSpark
Absolutely.
live class.
Yes.
Okay.
So I can see when I go say view report, I can see what my entire class is doing. Also,
Okay.
I can see now this is my entire class performance. I can
Okay.
also see what is perform. So I can go and check what mistakes did my entire class make.
Okay. So now I understand you are going to teach in live class, then give practice to the students, and then you will check what is the common mistake your children are doing,
Yeah,
so that you may improve your teaching by utilizing the common mistake of children.
absolutely. So this
Is
acts as an
brilliant.
input mechanism for my teaching. Absolutely.
This is brilliant. So parents and children, please make mistakes while you are doing practice, because that mistake is going to make sure that your teacher teaches you even better in MindSpark live classes. I understand, ma'am. I'm so excited to start with these live classes.
And not only this, I can also see each child's performance.
Okay.
So this is my class performance, and I can see Vihan has completed the topic, but accuracy was 73%. So I wanted to understand where Vihan made his mistakes. So I can select and I can show only wrong answers. So I can see the mistakes that he made.
So that means, ma'am, this MindSpark and your live teaching is going to help every child individually.
Absolutely.
Okay, I understand, ma'am. I get it.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Children, are you excited to see what is the result of the parents? Can you, everybody raise your hands? Who wants to see the result of the parents? Wow, I see people, kids raising hands. Let's see how did the parents perform. So parents, I hope you remember that first 4 options were normal and then there was other option. As you see, 95% of the parents have just chosen the normal way of answering that question. Just normal way of answering that question. 95% of us did not think anything beyond those 4 options. But that's okay. We can make sure that our children are able to think and grow beyond the normal thing. So, ma'am, it's very exciting to see that you have taught the children few concepts of algebra. You have told how the practice can happen. But as an expert in education, can you please help me or all the parents on the call to decide what is happening and what is the best way of learning maths, ma'am?
I understand, Anshuman, why you are asking this question. There are many solutions available on internet today. There are worksheets available. There are videos available. But all this in pedagogical term, we call it as passive learning. Passive learning is something which is a one-way instruction with low or no involvement from students. I'm not saying students don't learn, but the main focus of this kind of teaching learning is to complete the syllabus, but not to focus on understanding.
Right. And I've seen, ma'am, that in these kind of teaching, there is rarely a parental interaction. I mean, they say whenever you want to learn, you can learn. I mean, learning does not happen at 2 baje raat ko maths nahi hoti, ma'am. Maths needs a lot of discipline. Maths needs a lot of rigor. And if you need it, individual attention, it is very, very expensive. So, ma'am, I would like to tell and parents and students that as you have been learning with Jayanti, ma'am, and if you are using MindSpark, we are conducting MindSpark live classes. MindSpark live classes has got a very small batch size of 20 children with a well-experienced teacher. This helps a personal attention to each child. Those artificial and machine learned technology in MindSpark gives instant remediation, doubt clearance, and all these classes are absolutely disciplined. We have weekly tests, monthly tests, reports, all interaction with the parents, and all of this at fraction of the cost that we have. So why would a parent go ahead for MindSpark live classes? That is to get best of both of the worlds. 100% learning will be by teaching and using MindSpark. Ma'am, I would like to know why do we have a Harvard, MIT, and World Bank in this presentation?
Yes, EI is an Indian organization, but it has made its mark worldwide. Now let's see what world is talking about EI. In a study conducted by MIT, MindSpark is proven to deliver impactful learning. Harvard Business School published a case study showing impact of MindSpark. Also, I'm honored and proud to share that consecutively for last 2 years, MindSpark has been selected as a finalist by UNESCO under the theme of effective and ethical application of artificial intelligence in education.
Oh, so that means, ma'am, if Harvard, MIT, JPAL, World Bank, UNESCO are talking about the tool which you are using in your live classes, it must be good. So, parents, finally, I would like to tell in brief how are we conducting these classes. These classes would range from 24 to 26 weeks. We will have it, if we start in July, it will be going till December. Now, per week schedule is 2 days in a week. There would be a teacher like Jayanti ma'am teaching your children live like she has taught right now. And for 4 days in a week, there would be a practice session of MindSpark, which will help the children to learn and which will make teaching of the teachers also better. The grades we cover 3 to 10 with all the boards. As discussed, teachers, parental interaction, missed class compensation, platform use, and you need to have a device, which is laptop, tablet, or a smartphone with a proper internet connection. So what would finally a student get? A student would get live classes and MindSpark. In MindSpark, student would get games, worksheets, tests, and there would be a lot of preparation, a lot of practice, intelligent practice and intelligent teaching to ensure that there are better results and there is no fear of mathematics. What does a parent get? As discussed before, parent would get weekly and monthly reports, best of both the worlds, an improved and self-regulated learner. Wouldn't it be great if the child says, I want to learn maths without any parent asking a child to learn? That is possible. So now coming to what is the price of MindSpark Math? For 24 weeks of live classes and 52 weeks of MindSpark Maths, the price is only 700 rupees per month, which is an yearly price of 8,400. Now, for all the parents who are here on this site or on this webinar, there's an exclusive 20% discount. And we have MindSpark Math live classes coming at 6,740 only per year with 562 rupees per month. So to avail this discount, please understand we have new batches for grade 7 and 8 starting on 29th of July. So all those children who would want to learn mathematics, the best way, please, you can go to www.mindspark.in. You can click to purchase MindSpark, put your existing user ID, and you can buy. Alternatively, our team is going to contact you to take your feedback on the webinar and to help you understand how your children can learn maths the best way. Now, I would request if there are any questions, please put your questions in the chat so that I may be able to answer them. Any questions, please put your questions in the chat box, please. You can share your questions, your comments, and feedback on the chat. Is this chat enabled? If the chat is enabled, please put the questions. Yes, please ask questions that you want to ask here. Yes, so what are binomials? Yes, we are going to talk about binomials in the full class. Timing for this class is 4:30 to 5:30, and we'll also have a batch starting from 6 to 7. Okay, very easy. Yes, we did take easy concepts. Yes, it is possible to attend live classes every week. Yes, in order to get quadratic equations, you have to make sure that you join the live class, and we are going to teach is the best way. Yes, ICSE student can join. We will explain what are quadratic equations in the live classes that you join. We would increase the difficulty. This is for everybody and very basics. Free live classes every week. Please wait for the webinar. If the webinar is there, please join the webinar. We'll teach whatever we can teach here. You will get an email after you are registering for Mindspark. You would get an email telling you about the live classes. Our team is going to call you to take all your questions. Only algebra? No, entire mathematics syllabus would be covered for grade 7 and grade 8. There are separate classes for grade 7 and grade 8. What are polynomials? Yes, that's a very interesting question. What is pi? Okay. I didn't get an email. Okay. If I'm unable to answer your question, you can please email it on the mail ID given below. Yes, it is possible to interact with teacher for any difficulties because teacher would be teaching you live. Teacher will be teaching you live. You can talk to teacher and find out what is the problem. Will you teach complex linear equation? Yes, we will teach complex linear equations in the live classes. Complete mathematics course. Yes, you can share your queries on WhatsApp. Once the group is formed with your batch, you can share it with your teachers. So free live classes, please keep a track on LinkedIn. Whatever we are doing, we are putting it on social media. You can check. Alternatively, if you must be added to a WhatsApp group, we'll do that. Yes, we had a grade 5 session in the morning. We had a grade 5 session also. Absolutely safe site. Please don't worry. It's an absolutely safe site. It is absolutely safe site. We will be sharing a feedback form. Do you share food? Oh, how I wish I could share food with you. I mean, you have to come to me. So our team is going to call you. Alternatively, you can reach us to the email ID written below, which is harith@ei-india.com. If I'm unable to answer, is this class will be on YouTube? Yes, this class will come on YouTube. You will get the link of it. We will teach all the maths chapter in the live class. You need to join live class for that. So children, last 2 minutes of all the questions, then I'm going to log off. We are sharing, can we share the feedback link again, please? It might be lost in the chat. Please share the feedback link again. So these live session timings can be different. Please write back to us. We'll send it to you, send the details to you. Alternatively, our team is going to call you and you can ask questions from them also. Online class timing, as of now, there are 2 timings, 4:30 in the evening to 5:30 and then 6:30 to 7:30. There are 2 timings. Live classes are already started. New batch will start from 29th of July. Okay, so please note down. Kindly note down the email ID which is given below, harit@ei-india.com. Please send your questions which I have not been able to answer on this. Thank you very much. It was indeed a pleasure interacting with each one of you. Thank you. Have a great evening.